So, what happened to the week before last? You all arrived at the Southern Sapphire. Um, Suki and Sam and the storytellers immediately became outlaws, pretty much. Apparently,
They also lost Roseblood.
Yeah, apparently their holy detector thingamabobs, the way they track for clerics, religious, very powerfully religious people, the way they do that, they apparently caught up Suki Sam and the group for some reason. I don't know why. But that's not the important part. You all went to find Hope's father in the heaven side because you kind of were not exactly allowed on Angel's side. I'm sorry, on Devil's side because you had, some religious qualities to you all. So finding this ghost town, ghost city actually, where everything was run down, destroyed, war zone that hasn't really been reconstructed. You find Hope's father and Hope's older sister and her husband. Surprise to Hope for in that case, along with two vagrants, two orphans who kind of were run out. But after encountering all these people and talking with them, you discover that the trial for Hope's mother's life is online, happening this day in game. And the only way to stop that without, full on starting a war, well, starting a heist where you get in, get her out, and flee. That's always an option. The legal way to do it is to own a business and to sit in trial for her in her defense, and just to get her out of the pretty much death penalty. So, with the help of the orphans, who happen to have been handed down a very broken and battered and really not very good blacksmith shop, you paid a whole bunch of money and owned it. Got the legal fees to make it your own business, and today you have sent in the paperwork deciding on the name and the goods that you're selling for the moment and going into the trial. The trial is later in the day, so you still have a little bit of time to prepare, though. But let's get your characters on the map and begin.
Now, remind me, we turned back because an attempt would have been made to cross the Devil's side and it just would not have panned out. Is that correct?
Yeah, you would have reached there and guards would have said, hey, you're on the list.
Can't be here.
Yeah.
That's next on the agenda. After getting Mom, because that should help us, ideally, gain access to the Devil's side.
Yes, so you have you have a business now, and it's a couple hours before the trial begins. The trials go on throughout the day, but her trial begins then. So all that's left right now is what is the temporary name that you guys set up for your place and what they sell.
I still like mine. I think I'm the only one that really put forward a name.
I've been incredibly busy. What was it, Warden?
It was Anathema Esoterica.
Mine was Storyteller's General Store.
Ah, there was that one, right.
With the tagline of where stories we all tell begin.
I like that.
Okay. Yep.
Although it is more than 3 words for foul.
I know, he would have to write it down to actually see it. Like, he would write that entire little blurb there. I was respond to it so you guys can see it.
I will give ground on this because I wasn't 100% convinced anyway, so.
Okay.
My thing is, anytime someone asks Foul what story he owns, he has to write it.
Yep.
Right in the middle there.
Business cards.
We gotta come up
He,
with
he
a,
probably has
a,
like a business. He'll probably have to have like a metal business card or something with him.
Or just he says
Storyteller's General Store.
Yep, storyteller general store.
It's 4 words, but yeah.
I mean, if it
Storyteller's
doesn't
one
include
word.
the V.
So.
Store.
Where is it on the map? I see a bunch of places. I just don't.
It's the
see
very
exactly.
small hut in the corner.
all our minis got plonked down over there.
It still says waiting on GM for me.
It's 10th Circle Casinos.
Yeah, double side services.
In the campaign world.
There you go, Wolfgar.
So Scott, essentially we spent a full day kind of like setting this up. Because I believe we got here a day before the trial, right?
Yes, getting the stuff together, and you had spent the day doing everything, and it was kind of a night renovation, Kitchen Nightmare style. If you've seen that.
I love Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
I know exactly to what you refer.
Basically,
So
they
we're
came
looking
in,
at-
yeah, and
As
We were looking for the lamb sauce. It was a whole ordeal.
so as the little charisma, then would that make Hope Gordon Ramsay?
That's
I'm not
terrifying.
sure about the charisma of Gordon Ramsay.
This is fair. This is very fair.
I mean-
Hope's the angriest of us.
Yeah, threat is, intimidation is a charisma thing, so maybe yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going off of. He
Okay.
just terrifies everyone.
Guys have way too much fun with this fucking magic missile, I swear to God.
But yes,
Magic missile at the darkness.
you are officially business owners, and that means you are allowed to come into Devil's Side freely and walk around. You are nobility in the loosest way you can say nobility. Lowest rung of the lowest ladder. You're
Dukes.
Yeah.
What is it? I can't even remember what the vassal. That's
We got our
Vassals.
barely.
We got our game basically.
You're not even Jedi Masters. You're not even on the council. But so
I
I
thought we
appreciate
were on the council, but we weren't granted the rank of bastards.
Yes.
What is this
Un-
bullshit?
Unnamed Jedi number 43.
basically,
I'm one of the younglings.
Reporting for duty, sir.
now according to the laws of Devil's Side, any business owner can attend court and can weigh in. Nobody does so except the actual head honchos, the vast business owners, which mostly are what this block is made up of. Each of these places is its own inn on its own Venice-style river system, which glistens and shines with beauty because it is the Southern Sapphire.
It's kind of in the name.
Yep.
So what's our plan whenever it comes to the trial? Like,
Gods, I don't know.
are you going to let me do the talking, like all of the talking? Because I think that's a bad idea.
I think first things first, we find out more about exactly the charges leveled against her.
Clerisy.
So we dismantle in some way.
It was clerisy, so we were told.
Aye, but that has to have a foundation. That was not illegal a week ago, or rather, a few months ago, presumably.
I mean, God plague. Please.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much with what's going on in the world, it makes sense that clarity is frowned upon.
But the God
It doesn't seem like it's necessarily illegal, or they would have arrested you on the spot, Ulfgar.
Exactly.
And
There is more to just
Did we
that
not-
charge.
Did we not hear from Hope's father that he had to pin her down and she transformed? Maybe that's what is legal.
But then on the basis of that is an unwilling. If we were to go to the basis of that assumes that the accused is a willing participant in this.
They may not know the whole details as intimately as we know them.
That was my plan.
there is an additional aspect to that. If Hope's father had pinned her down, she had posed no danger on that day to others. So
But
what
if-
basis do they claim she still posed a danger?
But I'm going
Oh,
to
well, speaking
bring
of
up.
that, no timing.
That's true. I'm also going to bring up another point, playing jokes aside, devil's advocate here. If I were to give, let's say, Hope my rifle and told him to go on a killing spree, and then proceeded to hold him down if he was going to go on and do it, and he was in the act, and I had proceeded to stop him, he would still be, even though he was stopped, the act would have still been intended.
That's true, but even then, in that case, the fact that the act wasn't committed typically doesn't result in execution all the same.
Well,
Exactly.
the
And
I
we
think
need to find out what the basis for this charge is.
I think that the
If
execution.
there are foundations for why they believe she would be a danger.
May I point out that perhaps we shouldn't be stopping the one, maybe we should be stopping them all?
No. I agree. Because execution for something that's not even these people's fault is a little extreme.
I think it's
Of
more
course.
Of a
Okay.
It's not. It's
So-
not a matter of actual punishment. It's a matter of securing
Ma-
position.
May I make a
I'll-
point? Please.
Go ahead.
Having religious zealots execute people in your city is a terrible fucking idea for business. And Warden will just kind of hold out her hand like she's making a point.
Fowl would at that also point at Warden Non-Lengo set a precedent. Referring
With-
to the one case, setting precedent for the rest.
And despite how well known this city is as a trade hub, I'm sure that any future, religious sailors or any kind of tradesman would want to avoid the city whenever there are cults running around and beating people and executing people in the streets.
All right, that's fair. But who's to say that they're not being bought out by these businesses for that exact reason?
They don't need to be bought out when the business is the ones in power.
I'm saying, what if
These-
the businesses
these
are?
aren't the- These are the people that are. Sorry, excuse me. These are the businesses that are pushing the ideology. And if we get them to see the error of their ways, then they're not going to be supported.
I misunderstood you.
Warden, I have a similar idea. What I meant was we need to find out what this charge of being a clerk or being a priest is, and then dismiss that foundation, then they can't charge anyone with it. And if you can make the additional argument that this is damaging the city itself, both of those could work together.
You all know I'm not good at talking, so
Do you think they'll let us in to see the accused? Your mother, I should say.
I don't know if they'll let me in.
I doubt that they'll let any of us in.
It doesn't
don't-
matter. We're on the council. They should.
Well,
I say that specifically because I have bias.
yes, I think that'll actually bring damage to our case.
Then I'll go alone.
Not alone. But maybe a few of us can help figure out some other things around and track certain things down. More information while the rest of you actually work in the trial. Because if there are multiple people there that are working together, it's easier to succeed in the situation. But if we have an outstanding bias of the situation, aka Hope there, we are in a spot where we have bias. We have prejudice against one side, and we have one outcome we want. We need
That's
to
always
be-
going to be the case. We're not
Yes.
going to be able to undo that.
But what we need is we need people that can appear neutral. I don't mean are neutral, I mean appear. outburst or anger. And I'm sorry, Hope, but I feel like if you're in there and you see a mother in that trial room, you will outburst in anger.
I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what I would do.
Right. Now, I think if Hope and maybe one of us goes and help, try to find evidence and stuff, or find more basis, we can solidify our side of it, that it is an unwilling, forceful, magical act that they have no control over. Bring Ulfgar as a testament,
Exactly. The situation has changed.
not as a defense or anything like that, as a witness. Ulfgar is our star in this situation. Not only has he been through it, he's succeeded in overcoming it, from what we can tell. Don't say that. Don't say from what we can tell.
This is what I was thinking as well. Again, if they base all of their claims of danger in that moment, as Val has been saying, timing, it is no longer that moment. So do their laws still have the same basis?
Right. With the situation at that specific moment, all of the followers, the devout followers, transformed. From what we have been able to see from our own experience, is that one person no longer it was never a choice, and then after that it was never, if they did not do anything to invoke the god, then it was never, they wouldn't have a situation. And
Out
if
of
they
character.
found,
Peace was never an option.
yes, it was never an option. But there is precedent in other parts of the world, namely the one that we have here, that this plague can be defeated by the devout themselves. Whether or not they go through with it, that is their choice. Whether or not they are ignorant to it, that is the situation that we have to prove. If they are ignorant to what's going on, they have no idea what's going on, then the situation means that they are basically just mad. If I were to go and cast Charm on someone, Orchid, you know all about this, right? Charm someone, it's none of their will, right?
Of course not. I don't think it was.
You are speaking a lot in conjecture. I think perhaps we should simply go to the library or whatever equivalent and see what exactly the law is.
Sure. Maybe law's a good thing to study. But, Scott, how long do we have?
It's going to be a couple hours. So you guys are waking up after serious renovation to make it an actual workable shop at about 9 o'clock, and the actual trial is more like noon.
Right, so we have a few hours left. What if we send some people to go learn as much as they can about the law, smartest? Most likely Ulfgar, Orchid, and Hope.
I'm not book smart.
Well, you are savvy in wording, is what you are. You read between the lines. Ulfgar's pretty book smart, I guess, now, which is strange.
A little bit.
Hope,
It's
so
real.
is Hope. And so is Hope, but they lack the wisdom, not all, both Hope lacks the wisdom to see through the lines. Could help.
I believe what Traybar is trying to say is you will see the traps that are laid out for us. The verbal traps.
You found the trap in the contract with that vampire. Little late, admittedly, but you found it there, and you found it in your own after some inspection. You seem to be good at this.
The other part
Take
is
that
that
as a compliment.
there is another matter of fact, is that we now have a business. And yes, we own it, but to appear legitimate, we need to run it. That's why I only suggested 3 of us go. Because the other 2 of us bumbling idiots need to run the shop. So the time of the trial.
Val holds his hand up. I
volunteer as well. I'm not too smart in the way of the books. Nor am I too smart in the way of the streets. Or reading between lines. But I am good at making things, so I can stay here and make some things.
Val's own excuse is 2 words. He just taps at himself and just vaguely points out at the rest of the buildings and shakes his head and goes, "Too honest."
What do you guys think? Until at least the trial, we have an idea.
When we get through the trial, successful, I'm going to ultimate virtue. We have another matter that we need to handle. I'm gonna fucking punch Sam when I see him.
Speaking of, now that you've spent some time in Devil's Side, something interesting has popped up in some of the corners and some of the sections of the city. Wanted posters for a group of individuals.
What do we got? Storytellers?
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute, I have an idea. Wait a minute. It's the storytellers. Derek, stop skulking in the corner over there.
For once, he isn't. They are all on the run currently, and definitely, yeah.
Come on, tell me that wasn't a good idea.
I can't. Hope looks at you, and he's both confused and like at the same time he's like, I can't even act like that was like a bad idea as much as I want to.
Usually
Well-
he's scribbling whenever he does this. It's
Which means there's a good reason why he's not there.
because he's narrating the trial.
He's the stenographer.
That's funny out of game. That's funny as fuck out of game.
Well, if he ever loses his job, there's a future for him.
Actually, no, Scott, that is a good question. Or we wouldn't know, would we, if there were stenographers in court rooms?
It's mostly the Hunters Guild. They're the information gatherers, so everything they hear is just sent to some, database. Some
Actually,
magical archives.
I'm gonna make a intelligence check to see if I'd make that connection between the Hunters Guild and courtrooms. Just for...
Yeah, I mean, for more of an in-depth thing, but it's pretty common.
I've got a yeah, it's common, but I don't think I've been in a courtroom, so I don't think Raybar would know.
Fair enough.
But, with a 14,
Yeah.
yeah, I would know.
I still think that perhaps I might be better going and speaking with Hope's mother. I do have a knack for seeing someone's true intentions.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, between me and Ulfgar, I've been reading books my entire life. I'm sure I'll be able to find them. And Ulfgar, you are, after our stint in the Feywild, you at least seem to be able to pick up on things a little better than I do.
It's a surprise to me, greatly. Yes.
I
If
have
you
a
think that
question.
is where you should be, Orchid.
Warden is fine. Both
Oh.
are technically my name. I just work harder for one than the other, but they're both my names. I own both.
Well, I will admit, I am uncertain how much they will actually care about his mother's intent, Hope's mother's intent.
That it might not matter as much if she is not a willing participant.
That's for me to figure out whenever I figure out the information.
Fair enough. In the meantime,
I'm gonna go check with the Hunters Guild. Get court proceedings from past.
Might be
See
the
what they
same.
say.
Might be the same place.
Might be, but it's just a thought.
Hope's cat will just kind of right next to him. All right, now follow Orchid. Orchid, I'm going to send my familiar with you. If there's anything you need to hear, simply uncork your bottle and recork it.
You're sending the cat with Orchid.
Yes.
What is the range on our tankards of communication?
1 mile, I think.
Yeah, about.
5. Ah, okay. I must have my shit mixed up.
City itself is like. So if we'd all more or less be in communication range, or be too far away?
Between what points, dude?
I guess library, prison, and the store.
The
Are
shop.
those the 3 locations? Yeah.
Yes, that's going to be definitely more, because on Roll20, let's see. Library would be a a place in the central, like, islands thing. You know, the giant river that splits the 2 cities. The biggest library where you're most likely going to get the most information, it's going to be on one of those small islands. The prison is going to be deep back in the kind of slums of the city, far away from this fancy downtown.
Be right back.
Further than a mile.
Yeah, all those 3 points are further.
That
Always
might not
massive
actually
danger
work.
between a party.
Damn it. Warden, you don't happen to know sending, do you?
No what?
It's a similar spell to what I use when I write to you all.
I do not.
Damn it.
I know a couple spells, and they mostly have to do with trickery.
There are runners in the city, so messages won't be immediate, but they can be sent pretty quickly.
You could always just check in with me every now and then if you want information.
That's fair enough. Given how it works.
Okay.
Alright, let's just do that. Ulfgar, we'll head to the library. Warden, Orchid, shit.
I don't care, just whatever you're comfortable with. Just go.
Orchid, to talk to my mother and see, for one, see if she's still enthralled, because that will make things a lot harder if she is. That should be easy enough to tell. And then gather any information you can. Fowl and Raybar, you two were planning on staying behind and running the shop?
Val and Nod.
Hope,
Need work.
Hope, may I have her name one more time?
I'm rolling insight. I'm bad at it, but I'm rolling
Should
insight.
we to speak to her?
18?
Not up to anything. It's fine.
What? You see him just give you another look out of, like, confusion? I keep forgetting in my notes. Give me 10 seconds while I pull it up.
Mirren
Drive. Mirren, thank you.
worships Mystra, goddess of magic.
Mirren. And, may I ask, why do you keep phrasing it like that?
What's the habit, I guess?
He blinks heavily? What on earth does that mean?
Okay, I've got the memories of a fae, and I've got the memories of myself in my head. Fucking sue me. But joke's on you, I'm gonna know how to... I'm fucking leaving now, bye.
You see an ambulance chaser walk by when you hear the say the word "sue me." Perk up.
Yes, hi, I'm representing myself, it's fine.
Bah! Continues on his way to court.
So
I guess Warden will head over to the prison.
Hope looks mildly concerned now. Because he didn't know that.
She told you guys before.
He must have not been paying attention.
Yeah.
I must have not been paying attention.
It was a pretty stressful event that happened there, so.
It was during during the hallway.
Oh, oh, yeah. I wouldn't have. Hope would not have paid attention to that.
Yeah. Bit of a fun event, that.
That was still incredible.
So-
Anyway, well, Ulfgar, let's go.
Hope and Ulfgar going to the library to look up court cases and legalese stuff.
Effectively.
Okay.
Additionally, Scott, you mentioned that for legal counsel, the legal counsel has to be related to the individual.
Yes. So the city provides a defense. Basically, all the citizens are part of the city, and the city has to. It's one of those very low-cost pro bono city salary employees.
If
but
you cannot afford an attorney will be provided to you, that kind of thing.
that's the attorney provided to all the defendants. But if you have a close connection, can be family, can be a close friend, business partner, somebody who can stand on their behalf.
Better call Saul.
Yeah, and say that, hey, this person has done not any bad. Trust me. It's more complicated than that. Then yeah, it's just the wronged side that can prove that the person has done a wrong, whether killed someone or... Yeah, there's been many cases in the city where, yeah, serious murders have happened where somebody has killed, like, a family, and since nobody cared about this family, nobody was able to defend them, and the guy just got scot-free. It's less about law and order and more... Well, less about law and more about order. Yeah. So, since you guys are, like, connected and can say that, hey, she's actually not this dangerous person you make her out to be, that's why you can actually have some say in the goings-on.
Ah, okay. It's not the business, it's the being effectively next of kin to the individual.
Yes. This system was created because of blood feuds between families. Kind of to stop that, because of each of these businesses, one person kills the other's next of kin, that entire thing can bring the guy up on charges, and that guy's arrested. Ends the feud there.
Okay.
Otherwise, this would be a bloody place.
Which is how we stop businesses from taking the high road, quote unquote, and just killing off your competitors.
Now, if they were to wipe out an entire business's connections, all of them in like the space of a day,
Cool.
and everyone from the top to the bottom, that's a different story, but that's never happened.
Yet.
And
It's
yeah,
never happened.
that includes all the people who go to the business and like what they have bought or experienced. So these people
Cool, guys.
don't
That's fine.
touch each other, yeah. Now, if it were a small little itty-bitty blacksmith with, 5 or 6 people, that may be a target if you guys get too big for your britches.
Just as an example, that's fine.
Yeah.
Cough.
It's
Cough,
not
cough.
happened before. You guys think as you read through the documentation in the library of it happening. But anyway, you goes to the library. Most of the recent court cases, like specific details, you would have to ask a Hunter's clan, because they have access to it. They can go to their arcane library recording place and get the information there. However, make a investigation check and a history check, you two. Well, let's see, Orchid, and who else is going with you, Orchid?
I think I was going alone.
Okay. You get there, but it does take a while for you to get permission to see Miran and the cultists.
I did want to apply enhanced ability to both of us for the intelligence.
For intelligence. Nice.
Intelligence. Just
So
what?
we can get advantage on both investigation and the history.
Well, I have a natural 20 on the investigation for
I
23.
was excited before you rolled, but
But it's okay, I still get advantage on the history check.
Yeah. Well, history has already. Cool.
So 2 natural 20s on
2
the
natural 20s investigation, and both above 20 on the history.
Yeah. So it goes to show how. Oh, that meme. It just goes to show how busy a bureaucracy can be, and how well these cultists are guarded and locked down. That Orchid, it's going to take you like 2 hours to get in and talk with her. But in the meantime, the other group has unlocked it right away. It's a big case that is the current reading of most legal people here. Most lawyers, most clerks have checked these specific items out, and the library is able to point it to you right away. The big one being, what is it? Devilside versus Angelside. A landmark case between the two parts of the city where basically the Devilside won by extending the definition of cultist to combine all the religious people. So before the Godplay got out, there have been laws and everything that say, hey, if you worship a god that specifically wants to bring about the end of the world, you're not going to have some legal benefits and are assumed to be a criminal. Kind of a co-conspirator of a person who wants to, bring about the end of the world. So in that case, they were able to do that. Able to say, hey, all of these priests, clerics, religions... Yeah. It's been proven.
Fuck.
In fact, it goes down every single god and deity and follows their exploits, either in the city or in the world, saying, let's see. Mystra, the goddess of magic, she blew up a tower of pacifist wizards who only wanted to grow gardens and be nice. They're all dead, so that's definitely not a good person. Everyone who follows Mystra is now a cultist. And it went down the list.
We're going the generalization route.
Yeah. And
that's fucked.
It was heavily combated against, but this was right after the half of the city had been destroyed. Even the Angel side couldn't really put up much defense against that. So that's the biggest problem.
So specifically cultists who want to bring about the end of the world, or cultists who have any kind of misanthropic agendas?
So basically anyone who worships someone who wants to bring upon the world much destruction, which is proven to be all the gods now.
Right.
It was, generation like you said, but in the fact that generation, it's not exactly generation when they can prove every single god down the list has done something to destroy most of the world. Or hurt it.
It generalizes the worshippers of those gods, which is the thing that I'm talking about.
That's what it is, yeah. So
what we need to indicate is, even if she worships Mystra, she does not wish to see all these wizards die.
But because she worships Mystra, it does not matter.
It is. So looking at the notification or notice of the cultists, it is cultists who are aligned to that goal, right?
Yes, so think about it like a worshipper of Cthulhu. He might not agree, he might not know about or even be involved in a destruction of an orphanage, turning them all into, squid monster things and wreaking havoc on a village. He may be on the opposite side of the world, but since he worships and gives his energy and power to Cthulhu, that's where that comes in.
He is considered guilty by association.
So
that's kind of fucked. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, these people went the complete other way, spun the complete different direction. Angel Side was a balancing way for them, and now Devil's Side, which you go through all of the records, you go through all of the crazy things that have happened, and you realize as it goes by, they've kind of basically become the 10th circle of hell. Not in the punishment way, but the idealism and the culture.
So, knowing that, how have Raybar and Ulfgar not been already imprisoned? Since Ulfgar in particular still worships Baranar.
So, visitors are allowed certain.
So,
Yes, this is a tourist town. That's how it got its money. That's how it does everything. It still is, but just for Devil's Side, it's Las Vegas now, but taken to the extreme. The black market is now on the open. They don't need to hide anything now. But since you were visitors and tourists, you weren't technically under the legal ramifications of the city. Now that you are business owners, you would be, but you're business owners, which allows you certain permissions.
Ah. We have a seat of power, thus.
Just a seed, but yeah.
The seat of
Is
power
there-
is all you need to make a plant.
Tourists and business owners. They're the central of money, central of power, central of, everything that makes this city work. So without them, it doesn't work. If you were to do anything, hurt anybody, do a crime, Ulfgar, that would be cross the line.
is there
And you would
anything-
likely just get slapped with the entire charge.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, you might get a little bit more because they've gone so witch hunt.
Is there anything for renouncing that and getting clemency, or once that's been the case, once you're a worshiper of Cthulhu, you can be charged at any time?
So that's the interesting thing. With your checks being so high, you actually discover an oddity. Every single worshiper has been offered the chance to, disown them, to get
Renounce their deity.
renounce, but throw the name in the mud and kick on it. And every single one, it's written over and over again in different words and different wording, but it describes them basically having lockjaw, not being physically able to do so. It's always been assumed to be, cultists.
They don't want to.
Yeah. They're fanatics. They won't ever renounce their own deity. But after those checks and those descriptions, you realize that they may not be physically able to.
Ulfgar, it's look for a second, but actually, we have something pretty major we can use there. Improve it, anyway.
It is. The law itself is rather grim, but perhaps in individual cases we can help save. Though, this lockjaw issue, what happens to people who don't get cared about?
If we can prove the law is being manipulated in such a manner by some force, if I had to guess, the Red Claw, then we might be able to absolve the law altogether, because it's being manipulated by someone outside of that scope. Just to such a degree. I mean, it's every single case.
And Ulfgar kind of drops his voice a little bit. This extension of the cultist. I wish Baranar is still there, but some of what they say about her is also true. She is a danger. Though I wish it were not so.
If we can even... How to put it? If we can even lessen the from execution to battle, we'll have saved thousands of lives.
Or at least they will have to reduce their pogroms.
It will at least give them a fighting chance. If that's what we need, if we need a middle ground to change this, that would be what I would suggest. It's still not ideal.
This inability to speak. It would behoove us to spread this information because
Tactfully.
The devil side is entirely in power, but they are in power through the sufferance of the people. I think they have used tragedy to allow this miscarriage of justice, but people still believe to some extent it's justice. If they knew it wasn't entirely so,
It would spell disaster for the law and the businesses at large, ideally. But how do you convince an entire population in mere hours? We need more time. What would you suggest in the immediate?
we can't convince the entire population. We need to just have Hopes or your father know this. Trust him to start spreading the word tactfully. Your sister, your brother-in-law. And Ulfgar kind of ponders this as he says brother-in-law. Maybe your brother-in-law. I'm not sure, but they can be the ones who can use this information better than us.
And probably your party mates.
Yeah.
Share this with Warden and send it through the bottle. I'm going to send a quick
You can't
spell
send
into
it through the model.
Oh, we're too far away. That's right. I forgot. I'm stupid.
You can take a jaunt, like a mile jaunt, and then talk.
Or I
mean,
could just.
So essentially, our good rolls meant that we kind of got this information quicker than we expected, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually not unfeasible for us to take those like 20 minutes to kind of walk closer.
Mm-hmm.
Secretary, please.
All right, let's do that. While you're doing that, I'm going to pull out his book. I haven't put his name down?
Oh yeah, and one other thing. You do discover that most all of the cases, the prosecution, 70% of the time, have been the trio who own, like, the largest casino in the entire place, called the 10th Sin. The 10th Sin is a casino. Let's just say it's a dungeon casino. Lots of leather and chains, that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah. But the leaders, the owner, Predest, the second, Jillik, and the third, Clust, they are a trio of tieflings who are very good at what they do. The owner has taken the time out to, for some reason, get these people into the executions.
So they're pushing these forward.
Sort of, yeah.
Effectively.
Mm-hmm. They are carrying them through. And they're most likely the trio that you're going to be facing against.
Sorry, go ahead.
Here, let's take the jog. Just get within range. Is it possible that the trio, as I'm going to call them moving forward, Do I know if Centrio has any latent magic abilities?
Cent-
Through the research.
Centrio?
Yes, the Centrio.
Oh no, he's talking about the trio, the three people.
Oh, that yes. So tieflings of their own specialities. If you go into them, their history specifically, you'll realize that definitely more warlock and sorcerers type.
Much like myself, then.
More demonic.
Fiend.
And in fact, it is well regarded that they have connections with the Red Claws. The other people kind of whisper about it. Other businesses may have a bunch of people infiltrating them. These guys, while not openly saying it, it's pretty obvious that they're the biggest influencers on the Red Claws. Now, do an investigation check for me.
Do I still have the advantage on it? I don't know how long it lasts.
It lasts an hour.
Yeah, I'd say this is the end of the hour. It'd be the next one.
Okay. Ah,
Well,
it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, can't really find specifics about the Red Claws in the library.
Do I also make the roll, or just
Oh, what?
do I also make the roll?
If you wish to investigate the Red Claws themselves, yeah.
I'll ask. Is there any other thing you think to find out?
Let's see. If the Centrio is tied to the Red Claws in some way, shape, or form, they're magical, kind of like I am. So they likely have means to do what you have described. At least if the powers scale anything like mine, in which case,
All right.
the Red Claws investigation explicitly might be a boon. Past that, or maybe a spell that can prevent from speaking about something specific that's beyond my knowledge.
Yeah. Like, other question might be if there is something divine that's preventing that, but that seems unlikely.
Considering you were able to question and had questioned in character.
You are correct. I even prepared myself to renounce Baronor. Only in perhaps what I thought was folly, I could contact her.
You sure that's wise here?
19 spell?
19 to say what's going on with the Red Claws. Okay. Going into the research of the Red Claws, it's going to be more questions asked to the local Hunter clan person that's at the library right now, which takes a bit of money to get some information. I would say for a secret like this, for information like this, it would be 100 gold.
Oh, how much do you have?
How much do you have?
I got 147.
I have 14.
Okay, alright, I'll go ahead and pay the 100 gold.
Yeah, the Hunter's Clan, every bit of information they sell, and if you have information they don't, that's a very, very lucrative reward, because there's not a lot of information they don't.
We do have information that they don't.
But would we be willing to share it?
Yeah, and they are very trustworthy on their selling of information. That's how they do business. But after paying 100, the tiefling who is the face of the Red Clan, of the Hunter's Clan in the library, says, yes. You see, the Hunters, the Red Claws. This is rumor, but a very solid rumor. They are said to have a leader who is a devil, left over from when the Nine Hells and all the other dimensions were cut off from this material plane. Now, with that, the closest guess we could get to which kind of devil it would be, this is even more of a rumor, but said to be a Rakshasa. Now, that leader himself has not ever made an appearance or spoken of in anything other than hushed words in dark alleys, but we do know that there is a leader to the Red Claws, and is influential in many of the city's businesses, especially the 10th Sin.
Well,
We'll go ahead and. Oh, do you have any other business in the library? I think I would like to research Shasa. We can do that after we tell all this information to the others as well.
you're right. You're right. Maybe with the Hunters Guild specifically later. Just about my past travels. But we should research the Rakshasa. We find the time. For now, let's make the jog. Let the warden know everything we found.
We could also hire a messenger and continue working in the library.
Do we have the gold for that?
How much would a messenger cost? Probably a gold, right?
For a messenger, a civil go carry this message, that's like a bronze, a copper.
Okay. But could we trust them not to break the seals and all of that as well?
Most likely.
Give him 2 copper.
Yeah, I guess that's a reliable method. We could just do that. Oh,
All right, but instead of a copper, let's give him a silver to buy his trust for the sake of ease.
we'll need to send a message to Warden, as well as a message back to the shop, and then a message to your father about this information.
Let's make it 3 silver then, 1 for each message. I'll pay him triple his fee to buy his trust.
Different messengers probably. They have to go in different directions. But yeah,
I think the point stands.
go ahead and send all of this information to Orchid, especially telling her that there might be something about Hope's mother potentially not being able to speak. If she has any countermeasures she could think to do before, that would be good.
I have means for countermeasure, but I don't know if I'm going to be there. If it's magic anyway.
There's plenty of guards to handle that. Okay, that's the first letter. Sent out.
Yeah, anything you want to add to that, Hope?
Did you mention the Rakshasa, the Red Claw, the Centurio, everything there?
Right. Yeah,
No.
that would be the first.
And I will give Ulfgar a silver to pay that messenger.
And I got it. I can pay all 3. It's fine.
Well, he was just going to give it to you anyway because he feels bad that you just dropped 100 gold for some information.
Okay. So all the information going off to Orchid, all this information going off to the rest of the group, and where's the third one?
The third one's to my dad, and it's specifically to say spread this information tactfully. Try to find a way to sow a bit of discourse into the interpretation of the law itself. You are all still citizens, despite despite how second rate they might treat you. If we cause enough of a buzz, we may be able to make this case a precedent.
Stuttering in the letter, that's commitment.
I would also add that if there is enough doubt about the physical ability for defendants to speak, they would be less inclined to act even perhaps against that.
Okay, out of game, I'm brainletting. What do you mean in character?
Basically, like, if people are kind of doubtful that, you know, hey, defendants can't speak, then whoever's acting to make them not speak, they also might not be able to do that. But then that's a possibility.
What if it's a silent spell?
Well, to clarify, they do speak in their own trial when they're called upon, and they seem to be fine. But the second they're said, denounce your god, or else we will kill you, they can't.
I see.
That was my interpretation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's something more powerful than silence. Which, I mean, I imagine Hope would know just because he can.
I mean, it's
see the
probably the deity themselves protecting their followers and inadvertently killing them.
Well, considering it's been every deity and this is not something that's happened to Ulfgar despite his doubt, I don't see it that way.
Yeah, that was also what I was considering, and yeah, I think I agree with you on that. But we can also potentially research that.
I mean, I can literally try it in the prison whenever I finally get in there.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's information when we make sure that for some reason denunciation doesn't seem to work in that moment, and if you can think of anything. And then I guess to Hope's dad, it's basically this is the information.
Further, just you see fit, be tactful. Try to sow discourse within the populace about it. And we will send out the letters.
Okay. Letters have been sent and received. Did you like seal them or specifically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The extra to make sure the seals got there untampered.
That's exactly the point.
All of
Double
them
their fee.
get received, and 2 of them were opened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, when you spend that much money on a simple message and aren't
Curiosity kills the god.
aren't a wealthy, well-known person, then
Right.
they probably find the information and sell it to somebody. If it turns out to be something valuable. But
Which one wasn't opened?
that would be... Oh, sorry. The one that wasn't opened was sent to Gale. To work it.
Okay, so I'm the one that doesn't know that this has been spoiled.
Yeah. But that one arrives to you first as you are beginning to be allowed in, doing the final bit of paperwork.
The letter? Why is the letter sticky? Whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna open up the letter. Can you, how much longer is this gonna be? Can you please hurry this up? I would like to speak with the person that I'm good. And being summoned to a board, we can find the specified board. Did I disconnect? Hello?
You're here.
You're still here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm just summoning you to the prison.
It is failing.
It is LBQ prison. By Mr. Guyaka. Yes, I know, ma'am, but paperwork needs to come first. I don't like it as much as you do, but my boss will have my head if I let somebody waltz into a well-guarded prison without any recourse. Now, that's the final signature of your name, and the signing your life away,
I
basically.
love that you said that.
Yep. Just remember, we are not responsible for any maiming, killing, incineration, holy magic being called upon you, and burning your soul. Well, the list goes on, but nope. You are allowed to speak with a Miss. Looks through his papers. Miran. I don't know. Whatever. And you are led to the. After getting this letter and everything, you are led to a little bit larger of an opening in the bars where a still attractive but later in her years tiefling woman is.
Are you Mirid Marthos?
Yes, who are you?
I'm one of the members on the council standing trial, and I wish, unlike most of my fellow compatriots, I would like to hear your side of the story.
What do you mean, my side?
As far as I'm aware, the charges against you are clerisy. How did those come about? Were you... Explain to me what happened during that time.
Well, basically what happened to everybody. Were you not there? The
I was not.
gods called upon us for action and we acted.
And what did you specifically do?
It was a bit of a blur. I don't... And I don't think I should be talking to you.
And why is that?
Because
One of the only people that can stand up for your innocence on the trial stage. Are you turning away a powerful ally?
Well, because I don't know if you're an ally.
I'll have you know that the reason that I wasn't here during that time was because I was in Griella at the time. If that provides you any insight as to who I am and why I'm interested.
What do you mean in Griella?
I mean, I was in the midst of things, watching spells fly. I know generally what happened, but I wasn't here. I was at the school, the academy.
At the academy? She looks internally for a second. So, I hope I can trust you? She gives you an eyebrow.
I feel like that hope is well placed. It'd be safe to keep that hope with you.
At this, she nods and doesn't give anything away, but her eyes look at you a little bit differently. Well,
everything you can remember, I need to know.
In that case, I felt my goddess calling on me to do something great, to change the world for a better. You know what god I serve?
I've heard a little bit, but I don't think it's too terribly relevant to this, unless you think otherwise.
Well, I had a sort of vision from Mystra saw the ancient Elven city, the one that was destroyed at the beginning of the war. From such long ago, it was a magnificent place, full of magical creations. Nobody needed to drive a cart. Everything, it was beautiful. Nobody got hurt, or if they did, by some accident, they were cured. And if I did what she wanted me to do, then the world would be like that. Everything would be a better place, and my children wouldn't have to go off and do some battle and die, and this wouldn't happen. Well, it was just a moment of
Insanity?
not insanity, because I still, deep down, I still feel like it's the right thing to do. Because she hasn't abandoned me even now. It's just, if I can help her, then I can save the world, you know. Do you know how that feels?
No, I don't.
Well,
I have friends that do. Friends that were able to overcome the plague.
what do you mean overcome the plague?
They are still able to worship while remaining in control of their minds. I don't know how. I've never dabbled in those sorts of magics.
I don't think that's possible.
Well, I can tell you for certain that it is. And worst comes to worst, you could always just renounce the gods entirely. Become a true cleric or a true paladin, so the stories go.
What do you mean?
It's a story that I've been told from a reliable source. That's you embrace a certain idea and believe in yourself rather than in deity. And you can bring about the future that you so wish to see.
What do you mean a true cleric? I'm
You
still confused.
believe in yourself rather than a deity. You become your own god.
Her hand reaches through the bars, not the space in between them, but through the bars themselves, grabbing onto your clothes, pulling you in, and you see the eyes change and deepen with magical secrets you cannot comprehend. What do you mean, true cleric? And immediately, the guards that have been waiting on the side start rushing over and casting spells of like silence, blindness, deafness, paralyzation, and manage to subdue her. But for an instant, you saw the depths of a goddess.
It's unfortunate.
Ma'am, it's time for you to go.
So it is.
Yeah, they begin to usher you out. Looking behind, you see the bars that have been not quite melted, but twisted and warped.
I will head back to the blacksmith
Okay.
without any further fanfare.
Look at that, a new customer. Welcome. No? Yeah. Go back to working. As I saw Warden walk up, going back to work.
Ah, the silent treatment really does work wonders.
You don't have to be rude about it, okay?
I don't have to, but I want to.
don't have to be mad. As you see, like, the faint change in his eyes.
Yeah, and you've been getting a little bit of business, more curiosity window shoppers that see this new place spring up overnight.
Stop.
Yeah.
I should point out, my eyes have changed.
To what?
My eyes now have clocks ticking in them. And like that's what my eyes look like. Because
Okay.
of my clock result.
Definitely unsettling, as the probably the pupils look like gears rather than perfect circles.
Right, yeah. It's just kind of, and they're moving. They tick like a clock.
Mm-hmm.
Clockwork's all cool. It's got some fun little additives like that. I could have looked like that Zach Galifianakis meme with all the from Hangover with the geometric overlays. Could have looked like that, but it didn't.
But in any case, remind me what exactly you're selling. It's just general goods.
I thought I read something about weaponry, like arms and stuff like that, but I don't know.
Okay. Basically, whatever you guys have in stock.
Essentially, yeah.
It is goods for adventurers, I believe. Yeah.
Okay,
Essentially.
in general, yeah. Goods for adventurers.
Okay.
And then enchanted items if we can actually manage to get them or build them.
Yeah, not a lot of sales, but enough to get the word around that there's a weird new shop in town. At least in the general. What's that?
I'd probably end up manning the desk since Fowl can't really, talk.
Yeah, he's the
So I'll be
stockman.
busy stocking out smithing, making anything that's needed. Just like if there's, say, a missing shelf or something, quickly making something on the fly accordingly.
Okay. Okay, a couple custom offers, since the kind of people that would come to a shop like this usually have weird tastes, weird things in mind. So in the next couple days, you'll get the requisitions completed and sent out. But for now, you are just a simple family business, up and coming, in a giant new world.
Have
And
any of
Business
you
run by
played?
a cat and an ASMR.
yep,
Have any of you played Assassin's Creed 2?
I have. It's my favorite Assassin's Creed.
This is the villa we upgrade.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Are Hope and Ulfgar back yet or no?
at this point, they would find everything they could. Yeah.
We were trying to look up on the Rakshasa as well. Details on that.
Oh, you're looking for specific details about Rakshasa. That would be another investigation.
Gotcha.
Could that be religion, Scott?
Say it again.
Could that be a religion?
I would say more history.
One moment, guys. I'm sorry.
Actually, no, yeah. It's a different type of religion as the Nine Hells. That'd be religion.
That is the skill I took expertise in. Ooh, 28.
And a 4.
Wow. Spilling some water on a couple books, getting you guys kicked out early, you still managed to find some information. That is that the Rakshasa is even better than the succubus in most social situations. She is designed specifically to manipulate people and to get them to do what they want. This Rakshasa. They will make you do what they want, making you hate it all along, or love it, or get tricked into it, but it always ends badly for the other people.
So like the Fae.
Yes, it's the worst parts of the Unseelie court combined with all the worst little, secrets of contracts, hidden clauses, and everything. And you notice at this point that the symbol of the Red Claws is a red claw, but only under close scrutiny do you see that it is backwards. the wrist is just a little wrong.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that means that definitely for sure there is a Rakshasa behind the Red Claws. And yeah, powerful spellcasters. Do not go toe to toe with them. Do not go toe to toe with one in mental challenges or magical battles or intrigue. They will wreck your crap.
Do we learn of any vulnerabilities or anything that could help us? Now that we
Fight
do
it.
this?
I mean, just that magic doesn't really work against them too well.
Do they have something that could be causing this lockjaw?
That you'd have to, yeah, not from a book, not from anything you could discover here.
Okay. And Hope has managed to get us kicked out.
Yep.
Learn what I could, lad. Seems we do have a terrifying opponent acting against our interests. I don't know if Austin's here.
Yeah, to dip for a second, I believe.
here.
Okay.
I just can't add anything because Foul did as well. Foul.
Right. Well, I guess with that information, I'll start making my way back to the shop as well.
I'm assuming he's following.
I will share everything I know with the group. What did you learn, kid?
Not much. She attacked me and I got kicked out before I got as much information as I wanted out of her.
What exactly happened? 'Cause that doesn't sound.
I was
quite-
suggesting that there were other paths than to follow, and her god came through and tried to kill me.
He blinks a bit.
I mentioned the true paladins and the true clerics, and that did not sit well with her god.
So when Oma Henderson told us about True Paladin clerics, there was an air of secrecy. Like, how important did he stress that this information be kept secret?
You did? Oh. I must have gotten mixed up in my head.
What be kept secret, sorry?
When Oma Henderson kind of told us about the path of the True Cleric and Paladin, right? I know,
Yeah,
like,
because if the gods knew about it, they would be properly pissed.
And they
If
are.
the gods knew, people knew about it, that I should say. Because you're barging into their territory.
Oops. I blame the memories.
Orchid.
Not my own memories. The memories being mixed up in Orchid's head. Sure, that's the reason why.
That's the reason why we're all gonna get smited.
Of
Good
course.
to know. But we've got a backup.
I also mentioned just renouncing, and that seemed to have triggered it in the first place.
So it's specific with the goddess of magic. Does anyone know? And he's gonna look back. Do I happen to know? This is kind of a weird question. The general alignment of the goddess of magic.
Lawful good.
I will say that from what you told, or rather, your father told us about her worship, it doesn't seem to match what she originally intended.
Well, in that regard, Ulfgar, when you had control of your faculties, but still weren't entirely in control, for lack of a better word, on that Kobolg field,
Aye.
did you feel anything off? Maybe not off at the time, but off looking back at it.
When I consider back what I felt in that moment, I felt that the other clerics and paladins, they were wrong. They should not exist.
And what about, were your ideals changed?
No,
Are you sure about that?
I still feel and value the things I've always valued. It was simply that what they intended was wrong. It should not be there. They felt like threats to peace, to me, to community.
Let me rephrase my question. Why did you start worshiping?
Ogre takes a deep breath and I began. This is a tale a while ago. I was a sailor once, as some of you already know. I was not always calm. I always enjoyed fights, picking fights. I picked one too many and injured a sailor. When a storm came, he got washed ashore. He was a strong swimmer. He could have made it. He should have made it. Stayed at least afloat for long enough for someone to rescue him. That is why I chose Baranar, to find different paths to resolve my issues. Understand that we all have a place, that together we are better. Still worship her for the same reasons.
I bring this up because, from what Hope's father mentioned, she was very interested in seeing gifts bestowed upon her children.
That sounds like Mom.
And now she's striving toward a future where magic permeates the world. We all rely on it. And you don't have to worry about having gifts, because magic is present always. It seems like the scope of it has been stretched violently.
Why, that is what Baranar conveyed to me as well.
It seems like that's kind of what happened to you as well, though.
The warm heart, that forever, no violence at all. That is what Baranar offered me, promised me. When I spoke to her, she had not changed in any way, but simply believed and was what she was, more potently. There is no space for other thought, doubt. All of that is removed. Certainty is what replaces it.
So unfortunately, in doing that, in being confronted and attacked by or via sharing this information, I did not get to see if she would willingly renounce without anyone present. To see if it was an outside source.
See Hope just tap his chin a bit. Well, that's interesting. However,
Val would speak up at this point and go, Askin Mansion, and then gesture to Ulfgar and go, harder to hear.
How would you propose we get her in the mansion?
Suggest to judge.
Do you think the judge would actually allow us to bring a prisoner into a demi-plane that we're trying to protect and defend?
Under armed guard.
allow them to sit. Oh.
Yeah, well, no,
And
they
Hope's
cannot do
eyes
that.
widen. We would willingly allow them to enter.
Val would nod at that.
Is that how it works? Because I thought that the spell on the boat said that only the ones that are on the crew of the boat can enter it.
Yes, so crew members enter. And if you guys adopt someone as a crew member, or part of the ship, part of the crew, you can enter.
So it would be as simple as telling them, "Hey, you're a crewmate," or is it a little more complicated than that?
However,
This is still Sam magic.
If you guys wish to kick someone out
Doesn't
that's in
say
there,
that.
they will be kicked out.
This isn't Sam magic. This is Gallivant magic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So it's not stupid, weird Sam magic that works, but it's still Sam magic. Okay, this is Gallivant magic. Understood. I'm sorry. I caught up on like.
There is a simpler spell for that. There is a spell that protects from possession.
I know that one.
Aye.
Enough.
You know that one, Raybar.
I guess so. I do actually.
You guess so.
I know how to do that. Is what I'm saying.
Hang
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Hang on.
Out of character, I know you
Hang
know
on. I think they've already tried that. Whenever I got attacked, there were guards of every persuasion that cast a spell to put your mother down and subdue her for now.
The spell, it works if cast before, but it does not do anything once cast after.
But that's not to say that they don't do that in the proceedings. They know what they're dealing with. Do you think they wouldn't try?
Val just answers with yes.
But didn't we try
That's
this on you Ulfgar? Isn't this what you casted before you sent the sending spell to my mom and it didn't work?
Not. We had not believed your mom to be vulnerable in this way.
Right. Damn it. I swear we've tried that before though.
We tried it afterwards when we cast it to your father and to Helga.
Not
but
affiliated.
Regardless, we're starting to run out of time.
Yes, it's like 30 minutes before the trial.
our
We get
father's,
moving now and we discuss along the way.
Our other
Alright.
foe is a Rakshasa. We cannot take on the Red Claw directly, I don't think.
Well, the Red Claw is a cult. So that implies that it's an organization. We may not need to. We don't need to strike at the leader. We just need to strike at his supports. If you take down a load-bearing wall in a home, the home will eventually collapse on its own.
Oh,
Alright,
well.
but we have only 30 minutes to take down that load-bearing wall.
What if it's not the 30 minutes? I mean, you guys can stall them.
No, we can't.
In the courtroom, can't you?
No.
No.
That breaks that down for a bit, doesn't it?
All right.
Got it.
Who is going to the court? We need to go now.
I think we all are. Or we all should.
I think you're right.
We all can enter, right, Scott? All of us can allow to enter.
All of you can enter. Yeah.
Just not all of us can speak because that's a bit too much for a small business that just opened up.
Well, you'll have a spokesperson, but you can
Okay.
all discuss among yourselves and everything. And
Gotcha.
you may be called for direct questioning, but yeah.
Also, Scott, I apologize. That phone call I got kind of riled me up, so I'm kind of a little out of it. I'm sorry.
You're good. Hope would be pretty upset right now anyway.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, the courtroom is actually a specific casino known as the Judge's Might, and it is right here. Caesar.
Okay. I wasn't prepared for that. Okay. Hang on. Let me shift click my mini and just new. Wait.
Now, when you enter, the first thing you see from the outside, though, is a solid mortar building designed like an official place of business. It seems they're more of an accounting place with a bar for lawyers and people to hang out at. Most of the places around are crazy, fancy casinos that are the life of the party, but this is a down-to-earth business bar that also, that's where their court runs out of. Now, as you enter, most of it is empty. There's plenty of rooms for all the businessmen who happen to be allowed into court, but none of them go because if they step on the wrong feet, they'll be... yeah, their business will probably go under slowly over time. Who knows? But after some asking around, Hope, you recognize most of the people there. So that table is where the city defense guy is. But you have this giant in the back, the giant who runs the Frigid Heights Bonds. Yeah, Bonds is his name. Then you have the table of three. Those are the three tieflings who run the 10th Sin, biggest casino in town, wealthiest people in the entire city. And also Madame Violet, which is... she's an actual succubus who runs the Violet's Kiss. That's the red light casino, the red light district. Let's just say all of their windows are shaded, even in this town. And
Gotcha.
finally, in this corner, there is Sultan Kalazin of the Oasis. So, and he is definitely more into drinks as his business, and exotic trades, even exotic for Shanarakia. Now, she's not here at the moment, but the judge, Judge Scarlin, he is presiding over it, and they have just finished up the latest trial, which ended in a pronouncement of execution that'll be carried out the next day. And the man is let off. Now, 10 minutes break as we prepare for the next trial. And some servers come out with drinks and food, and other people stretch their legs. You see the city defendant, defense attorney, is a elderly male gnome who is currently 6 drinks in and is completely wasted. Well, that's a good one, sir. Another. Slams his empty, not quite empty tankard down on the table.
Hope just kind of exhales visibly.
Yeah, you see the alcohol has definitely stained most of his papers.
I take his papers.
You intend to speak, right? I look at Orchid.
I don't think I should do it alone. I believe that the rest of you should guide my words so I don't fuck up again. But I do intend to at least helm this, unless you would like to defend your own mother.
Hope doesn't mull that idea over for a moment. You can see it on his face that he's a mess.
I feel like I have a hypothetical +8 to this.
Yeah.
To getting my point across.
You see Hope.
+1.
Hope will use his faces and shift into a form unfamiliar to all of you. It's elven, strangely, a little taller, and a suitcase at his side, wearing a suit of some sort.
I just did this in public.
Yeah, okay, in a place like this, it's not really the biggest surprise. This is for him more than anyone else. I will help you. Best I can, anyway. And for the first time, his stutter seems to disappear naturally.
Are the papers still dirty?
Yes. Oh, sorry, guys.
I'm just gonna wave my hand over and prestidigitate all over them.
Ew.
Very well.
Prestidigitate
Oh, you said that.
all
Why
over.
are you soiling them?
Alright, I will get and burn another 3rd level spell slot to enhance both of you.
Okay.
What are you enhancing?
Eagle Splendor. For
Wow, charisma. So,
Queen shit. How much? That's about it.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said I can clean the papers. That's about all I can do to help
Yeah.
with magics.
Graybar, when we speak of Protagon's possession, if you can do that, it would be a lot more convincing coming from your mouth than mine.
I mean, I can.
guilty of-
I think.
I am guilty of clericacy as well, but you draw it from a different source.
Sure. I don't really know. I know I can. I'm pretty sure I can do it. Pretty sure. I think. I don't know. Kind of seeing things a little bit differently nowadays.
To be honest.
He understands what makes things tick.
A little bit, yeah. You could say that. But I'm certain I can. I think.
yes. Now, looking at the legal papers, you see that almost all of them comprise legal guidelines about what's okay to say in a courtroom. Things about, like, you can't treat the witness as hostile and things like that. And Most of the important stuff is in some kind of legal code.
Is it so?
It's
Is,
mumbo
is
jumbo
it
like
in?
that.
Is it like legalese?
It's
Or is it
legalese
like
of.
an actual like cipher?
It's in Gnomish, first of all.
Yo, go fuck.
Yeah. But it is a shorthand saying, like, you know, what could be interpreted as Angel Side versus Devil Side is AVD. Yeah.
So shorthand.
Mm-hmm. So you would need to have some intelligence to figure out the shorthand for that behind that.
You know what? I'll attempt that.
I
With
actually have.
Ulfgar helping, yeah.
Yeah, I have Gnomish language proficiency.
You know Gnomish?
Yeah, because I'm a dwarf and I like to make things.
Do I recognize that it's Gnomish then?
You recognize that it is
Like what
Gnomish, yeah.
Can you read this?
Why? Gnomish, I have worked with them for many years. They
I
have-
only speak Draconic and Celestial and Sylvan.
Celestial, I'm like, me too. That's about it.
Val just shakes his head. Primordial.
Yeah.
I speak Gnomish, lad.
Here, and he will hand the papers to Ulfgar.
Don't touch my papers, those are mine. Give me them.
No one's
Right.
touching your papers, you're drunk.
So the elven man stares at this 6 drinks in defense attorney.
I'm not
And-
drunk, you're drunk. You're wobbling all over the place. No.
You know, I heard that there's a bar about 1 or 2 blocks. Are they blocks in the city? Down the road, just down the canal. It's giving out free drinks right now.
Objection! You cannot bribe a defense attorney
I'm
and
gonna mess with
I'm
make
not
them
bribing you.
and try to influence them to leave their job. That is a Class B felony, and I should arrest you if I weren't doing business right now.
I'm gonna message him in a way like with the message spell, and just I should really go to the bar next door for the free drinks.
Objection! Leaving my post when I'm supposed to be here is a misdemeanor and could negative influence my legal certificate. Meh.
He catches himself. Let me put it this way, my friend. You're already too drunk to get anything done.
I do my job.
Do your job with us. Be co-defendants. That's what we're here for. I'm not lying.
I'm so sad I don't have lesser
Can I-
restoration.
Hang on.
I do have
With the rules, could theoretically Hope's family have hired their own representation?
Not really.
No Miranda rights.
You're the you're the people that they asked for, that Hope's father did.
What's the gnome?
You see,
The
I
gnome
will look at the
states provided, and has to be there apparently.
What
I forget.
what is
I
it,
forget the
Ulfgar?
name of your father.
I will look as I'm looking at the documents. You have to be here, right? You intend to do your job well.
I do my job. Make sure nobody does anything illegal on my watch. Peeled like a grape, my eyes.
I believe
Yes.
that throwing up in the courtroom is also illegal.
It is
Uh,
considered contempt of court, if I remember correctly.
Not in this court. No, the one over on 5th Street, yes, but we're good here. Red floors and
This is
stuff
the
like that.
one that's over on 5th Street.
All right. Be
By
well.
the
and
bench.
I make the smell of good beer outside?
This is the one that's over on 5th Street. I'll go ahead.
You rolled for it.
I did
Objection! Lying to
I
when
read
you are
that
not the client of a target.
Number.
Nope, doesn't work.
It's advantage 18. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He did get a natural 20, so
Fuck.
yeah. Sorry.
Guy. This guy.
-1.
You might be more effective than thought.
If he keeps rolling natural 20s, alright then. These two, they intend to speak. Please help us, guide us. And I'm just gonna hold my hand and I'm gonna cast a restoration on him.
Yeah, it's a poison.
Poison. Okay. He brightens up. Oh. Another. Raises his hand for the bartender.
Sir, ma'am, merci.
Yes, sir.
Listen to me. Please. Just for this instance, let's lay off the alcohol.
Look, if you want me to sabotage my own trial, go ahead. But I do my best work drunk. Strongest ale, please.
We've come from very far away to make sure
Can I roll insight on when he says he does his best work drunk?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll also do it because I'm good at insight.
Well, actually, natural 1. Let's roll a d4 for that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The D4 insight. I forgot about it.
So, luckily enough, Ulfgar and Orchid together, you see that the notes that talk about specific, you don't actually know what it is, but the really complex ones, the ones that are like, yeah, you have no idea what they mean, but they are important and must be of a higher class, definitely are scrawled in bad handwriting, probably when drunk.
So he's not lying. He does do his best work drunk.
Could do his best. He thinks so.
We've come from very far away, and we just didn't want to we wanted to make sure that this went as best as it could.
Yeah, are you family members of the next person? Miss Marianne?
Nope, not family members of us.
That would be me, I'm afraid.
Okay. Well, you have legal standing to be here, business owners and everything. I recall something about new business popping up. Well, we'll see how it goes. And he starts chugging the ale that's brought to him. Anyone else want to get drunk? It's fun. There's a reason why the bar is in a courtroom, or the courtroom's in a bar. A lot more fun.
To be fair, I'll keep my mind unmuddled, even if it helps you with yours.
Yeah, well, whatever goats you float. And you can see already he's getting drunk from that. It seems to be very strong.
Something I should bring up. One of my abilities allows me to affect advantage or disadvantage on enemy creatures as well. So if they are rolling advantage, let me know so I can determine if I want to use it or not.
Okay, very well. In that case, all of the... let's see. Half of the trio, well, 2 of the trio are using... one of them is using charisma advantage, one of them intelligence advantage, and one of them wisdom advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't do it if I can't see it, but if I can see it, like if I can, they have advantage or something. Because so the exact wording is that. I forgot I can link it.
Okay, just know that it's every single individual to a roll. And I will say, The succubus just gets naturally advantage from her race. So you're gonna blaze through those abilities real quick because everything she says with advantage.
Well, yeah, but I'm gonna have to pick and choose.
Okay.
Which ones. So.
Very well. Proficiency bonus. Yep.
It's just I'm bringing it up so that way you know I have it. So I don't get you off guard.
And remember, it's about 2. So.
Scott, as I'm looking through these notes, what do they say about spellcasting in here?
What do you mean spellcasting?
Like in the, I mean, obviously I've cast enhance ability, but what are the kind of rules on that on spellcasting during the court proceedings?
I mean, nothing harmful. It's a pretty open place, and nothing to harm or affect the proceedings itself. So, like, you can't cast deafness on anybody, or yeah.
But while in our own council, we can kind of cast something amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
Another minute goes by, and the judge comes out. 1 second. Now, all witness. Let the case of the city versus a Miss Moran will begin. And you see by his side a Hunter's Clan member, someone with the typical gray robes and silver band on their head, starts to listen attentively, kind of eyes unfocusing. And out comes a worse for wear tiefling. Stands up. Now, we shall begin. You have been brought up on charges for priestcraft, for assaulting a member of the city, and for taking part in the destruction of it. How do you plead? And she looks at the council, at you guys at the table.
Hope shakes his head, even though she won't recognize him. He shakes his head regardless.
She recognizes Warden and Orchid and says, "Not guilty." Very well. In that case, go down to your legal counsel, and we will begin the trial. And she goes down. She is actually in chains, which does raise the eyebrows of the gnome. Well, that's a little different.
Elaborate.
Most witnesses come out not in chains, but obviously something must have happened. This is definitely not going to bode favorably for us, as she is already assumed to be guilty. And as she comes, is Hope with you guys?
Hope, in his different form, does raise a hand. That would be me, actually.
She goes over to you and in her shackles hugs you.
Hope does return the hug.
And is this an illusion or an actual polymorph?
This is not polymorph, this is disguise self. So, like, if she pulled me into a hug,
Yes.
Yeah, then she...
It would be her, she would pass right through some bits, and then make contact with actual Hope.
Yeah. It's awkward, but... Mother finally seeing her only son after years of absence.
I may have gotten caught up in some things, but now's not the time to tell a story, so...
Why do you look like this? Did you guys get in trouble or anything?
We will explain
This
it
is-
later.
When you are safe.
Okay, well... they're supposed to go up and, I guess, talk about what they have against me, and I'm supposed to make my defense, and then we're supposed to ask a bunch of questions back and forth, right? And the gnome nods as, affirmative. No objection here.
Your Honor,
That's
we're
kind
ready
of-
to begin opening statements.
We'll ask
The defense is ready. Does the prosecution wish to affirmate their readiness? And the tieflings look at you guys and start whispering them among themselves. Give us one more moment, Judge. And one with spectacles seems to glance at you all with a deeper intelligence, taking you in.
I'm just gonna roll a general deception check to see if I can kind of appear more stupid than I actually would be.
Sure, deception. 16.
22. They both have advantage, Hope and.
Oh, since that's a charisma.
Okay.
Yeah. You seem pretty darn stupid.
I'm so glad we tried that.
In fact,
Warden's like holding her papers backwards right now, just kind of like scratching her head.
in fact, the cleric, the gnome looks at you all. Maybe we shouldn't let her talk.
It's part of
Hope
the plan.
just-
Shut up.
Hope just chuckles. How long do we have, Judge?
Until the prosecution is ready, which should be soon. Looks at them. He stands. Yes, we are ready to present our opening statement. Then proceed.
Can you give us 1 minute? Almost exactly.
We've already asserted our readiness.
Yep, and the prosecution stands. You see, actually, it's going to be not this guy. He's the leader. He's going to be the face. With a smile and a wave, something that takes you all in. It seems like he has a air of attraction from everybody in the room. A tiefling stands, hair waving, and ladies and gentlemen of the court, we've been through many of these proceedings from a month ago. I do not see why we need to go into too many details in this specific case, as everything is clear. Now we can, of course, go into details. The prosecution is not worried about that. It's just a matter of time. We have 16 more cases to see today, and as you may well know, Miss Moran is one of the clerks of the previous mayor. And when he says that, you can obviously see the few other people in the room kind of furrow their brows at that. The mayor must not be a very friendly person to this group of people. Now, association is bad enough, but as you may notice, we will have witnesses, if you wish to ask, who can testify to her being afflicted with the same god plague as everyone else. You may have noticed why she is brought up in chains. That is for our own protection, as she has just made an attack
On me.
on one of her own allies, just this very day, not an hour ago. In fact, I can show you the bars that have been completely rent asunder by her very hand. She is dangerous to this society as a whole, and all of our businesses and lives and family. Prosecution would like to call that she be executed for all of our sake, and know that she will be taken back to our God's graces, as all of the others have been as well. A happy ending for everyone, and the best for everyone involved. And he nods and takes a seat. The judge looks over to you guys. Defense, your opening statement?
Hope will look at Warden, stand up himself, and wait for Warden to stand as well, because he's going to ask that she back him up on this and vice versa.
Before they do, I will go ahead and embolden Hope Warden and myself. But go ahead. You'll do well, lad. You'll do well. I believe in you.
Okay.
Will Stan? Are you leading this, or am I?
Hope will begin to speak. You say afflicted. So we understand that this plague is something akin to an unwilling choice. Is that correct?
This is the opening statement. You do not have the ability to cross-question anyone, yes, yet. So continue. The judge says.
Hope will nod. As such, an unwilling participant in this plague would rest on flimsy charges, coupled with the fact that, well, to put it simply, no mortal human could obtain these abilities that quickly, tiefling or otherwise, even with years of study, and believe me, I've done it. Although not other works at play that are beyond her control, I will look at Warden.
And even if, even though what he says is true and she did attack, would I not be standing here right now if I didn't believe that it's not from her that the danger lies, but from the beings beyond?
We've dealt with many creatures that, in our travels, have caused strange abilities to occur, if you're familiar with. Well, the Fae is a similar situation, albeit a lot more chaotic because we don't know what these deities are capable of. They have record of the Fae.
Sorry,
Would
can
you... Well, he's bringing up, this is a lot more chaotic because we have no idea what these deities can do, but we know what the Fae can do. Would you charge someone with murder, knowing that they were commanded outside of their own will? That is what I seek to call into question.
And that is your opening statement.
Hope I'll look to Warden and see if she has anything to add.
Okay. Now, the prosecution may have the first witness. They stand. Let's just get this over with. I believe the easiest defense can easily be done by Miss Moran herself. We call Miss Moran to the stand. She goes up in her chain. Now, Miss Moran, they say that you have no choice in this. Is that correct? She nods. Please, out loud for everyone to hear. Yes, I don't think I have a choice. Think you have a choice, yes. Now, here's the main issue that I have. I believe you do have a choice. And that being, disavow your goddess right here. For everyone to hear.
I am going to stare down the Sin twins. They're the Sin triplets.
Yes,
I am watching for a spell.
very well. Watching for a spell, but you notice that Pretis, the owner, the most powerful man in the city, arms across, arms held out for everyone to hear. Go ahead. Prove that you have a choice, and that you can disavow your goddess right here.
Objection. We would like one of our counsel to approach and calm Miss Miranda?
We have found a strange number. We have found a strange number of coincidences as we research these cases that involves every single one of them. Almost as if pulled away by magic.
First of all, objections are my thing. Objection to your objection, but I sustain that. And the judge looks over. Sustained. You may counsel with the witness before answering this question. He nods and goes back, and you guys can approach the bench.
Hope will approach the bench. And I'm going to using a spell slot. I'm sorry, my mouse is double clicking. I'm trying to get off the post. I promise I'm not actually there.
Get off your high horse.
Got the high ground now.
I am going to cast Identify on my mother. Not as a ritual, so it only takes a minute to do so.
Okay. Identify as...
Spell slot.
Yes.
A spell slot.
Yeah, figuring
Spell.
out if there's anything affecting her, any spells.
Right.
Yes.
Any spell or effect, or I believe curses as well, are pinged by it,
Any effect.
and it will
that is
tell me
effective-
what spell.
Yeah,
Can
anything.
Okay.
Bar also cast protection from evil and good?
Yeah. Alright, I'll walk up and place a hand protection from evil and good.
At what level?
I literally only have level 1 spell slots.
Okay.
So
I literally only have level 1.
He's a level 1 sorcerer, so...
Yeah,
Yes.
probably not going to do anything against a god. But you certainly try.
I mean,
Every little bit helps.
yeah, creatures of those types, they automatically have disadvantage, is what happens.
and they also specifically they can't be possessed by any
The
of
target can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed.
It does not matter if there's no save, it's no roll, it just doesn't happen. It's like they have the immunity to it.
Yes. But gods, they're not like a celestial, technically.
Right.
They're their own thing, so...
Target also out by them.
Yeah. But...
It is still worth a try.
Yeah, it's
I
still
am
targeting
casting
flesh.
Yeah, this isn't a cure to the god plague, basically. But if anybody is affecting her, like the Rakshasa or anything like that, you feel confident that she is not being possessed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And my Identify.
And the
It
Identify,
tells me the spell.
nothing is affecting her except the chains that are basically will render her unconscious if she does anything. Yeah, nothing that'll stop her from speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do this because we have reason to believe that every single person who has been before this council, before this judge, has been rendered unable to speak whenever this question has been posed. There are a number of solutions, and we wish to try this one now. But another suggestion that we may have is leaving this plane into a place where the gods are unable to see them, or at least not easily, to be able to disavow them of their own belief. To be so saying that because of this affliction, they are physically unable to do so while on the material plane.
We do have precedent that being off of the material plane will counteract some of the control.
Well, if Your Honor, if I may speak, the judge nods. It seems a very elaborate tale to try to convince us to let her out of our custody, but feel free to try to prove that all of these different people of different religions, of different backgrounds, creeds, and histories, all ranging from the lowest clerk like this one to the highest mayor, again, after they say the mayor, the others frown, are all under influence of some power that can make them so that they can't speak. No, I proceed with my initial belief that it is simple that they are cultists. They would sooner die than disavow their deities that they work so hard to obey.
And clearly you haven't had much experience with the God Plague, have you?
Oh,
will
I
turn to the
believe
prosecuting
I
judge.
have, but
Where were you when it happened, if you mind my asking?
objection! Not on the witness stand.
We can let my friend can wait until later, but for now, we should try our tests that we have.
Yes, and unfortunately for the defense, let me know that I cannot be called as a witness.
Really?
Yes, I'm
And why is
impartial.
that?
If I am called to be a witness, that implies that I have some stake in anyone's ruling,
No,
so...
we'd be calling you to the witness as an expert in the situation, not as a user.
Well,
it would be
please.
expert testimony.
Please stop.
Yeah, you have nothing to gain from this inquiry.
I mean, if you wish to question my authority, you may do so outside.
Please disregard the previous line of questioning, Your Honor.
Very well. Stricken from the record.
We wish not to call into question your judgment. We do just wish to call into question the previous rulings of cult-like behavior. It is unreasonable to believe that every single person who has stood before this council, before you, the judge, has held beliefs so firmly that they would be willing to die for them.
You may prove that in court, but for the moment, I believe the witness still has to answer a question posed by the prosecution. Will
Have
you?
the spells been completed?
Aye.
Yes.
She looks at Hope.
He gives a nod.
Questioning?
It's a
I want to be watching
It's-
her eyes.
It's a nod familiar to her. That unspoken mother-son rule. Do it. You have to. He doesn't say that, but you get the idea.
Like I said, I'm watching her eyes with hawk-like
Okay.
vision.
A single tear does begin to well up in an eye, and they become glassy and... Okay. And her jaw immediately shuts.
The minute it does. This is a bit gamey. So dispel magic lets me end one magical effect on one creature.
Mm-hmm.
I can cast it at 4th level,
Okay.
but it would burn my last spell slot.
And you would still have to roll for it, but you may do so.
Ooh, you're a charisma caster.
The DC
You have
equals
advantage
10
on those- You know, those are checks, right?
equals
We
10
do
plus
the
the spell's level. On a successful check, the spell ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is a check.
It's a check. So yeah, you would have.
And you also get the bond.
You
Yeah.
get the D4, and if Hope is rolling with disadvantage at all in this, I'm going to cancel that out.
Okay.
She's rolling disadvantage because she doesn't quite believe what she's saying either. It's basically asking Ulfgar to disavow his goddess.
I'm going to remove disadvantage from her. I
Very
can do it
well.
to anybody that I can see. Restore balance.
What
But
am I rolling?
she won't be. It's
As
the
you guys, just
spellcasting
watch
check.
you guys just watch my eyes click to noon. They're at 12.
I believe you just roll a charisma check with
A
advantage.
charisma check with advantage.
Since you're a charisma caster.
You also have a D4. Oh man.
Wow.
Oh, that's not
Four.
good.
4.
I don't think that's gonna make it though.
I don't think
Or-
so.
Wait, no.
What's
Is,
10
is it
plus
is it the
spell level?
charisma or is it your spell casting?
It's a spellcasting roll because it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't roll charisma. Roll spell casting like a spell attack.
Right, because you would have proficiency.
Oh.
yeah,
Right,
proficiency's
it's
added. So
8 plus proficiency plus your spellcasting modifier.
In that case, it goes from 14 to 17.
17, 10 plus spell level.
And then I don't know if I get any benefit from upcasting at the 4th level because I'm a warlock.
And it's 3rd level usually?
It is a 3rd level spell natively.
Okay, so that's an 18.
You have to, I believe, just like dispel magic. If you upcast it, it's reducing the, you automatically end effect of a spell on a target if the spell's level is equal to or less than the level of the spell.
So if it's
decide.
4th level, it automatically spell.
Yes.
They're expected.
And my DC would lower by 1.
Right.
In there.
Basically. Okay. You know what? Hope, I want you to roll a d4. And call odds or evens before you do so.
Oh, too late.
Do it again. Just call
Yeah,
first.
Do
then-
it again. Okay.
Call first.
Evens.
Evens. Oh, that's not good. You see her jaw almost dislocate for a second, but then she says, yes, I disavow Mystra here and now and forever. I will not be a follower of her anymore. And you guys hear the sound of shadowed glass breaking in the distance, almost.
You said glass, shadowed glass?
It seems like it. It's the closest way you can reach to the breaking of a heart and the destruction of something precious.
Question: does it sound like what we heard in the necromancer's lair?
No,
on.
it doesn't.
Okay.
It's not something
Not
you've heard
the
of
same-
before. It is something new, but that's the closest you can feel to describe such a horrible
It's
thing that
something I've heard
happens that you can't say what it is.
Is
It's
this not the
something
same
that I've
sound
before.
that we're similarly cursed to?
Say what?
Okay, I don't remember if when I was cursed there was a sound associated to it. If there was, is this that sound?
No. Closest it would be when you're in when like Warden was being shattered in her own dream.
So yes, I've heard it before. Everyone else has not.
Yeah.
It sounds like Nintra. The stuff with Nintra.
But
Hearing.
no, the rest of you hear something slightly different. The saddest thing you've ever heard, a priceless, glass-blown relic shattering on the ground. The ripping of a child's toy, teddy bear. Something horrible just happened, and you can't understand what. And as she says this, everyone else stops. And the head tiefling, priestess, Pridist, stands. Well, the prosecution rests. As long as she does not return to any god or goddess, we do not see any further need to prosecute.
Warden, you should push for saying that this has been happening to everyone.
We shouldn't push out like we have bought ourselves time. It may suck for the rest of the day, but we bought ourselves time.
But there are others who will stand guilty in a moment.
Before the court rests, I wish to present a bit of evidence.
You have closing argument, even in this case. You may speak and stand.
Warden will stand and dust herself off. I do request that some of the other rulings be called into question. There's clearly some powerful magic, because that is what my friend here did to the defendant.
Hope is visibly sweating, even like his concentration on his form disappeared after the cast of that spell. He's
There is some powerful magic at play preventing these people from disavowing their gods. And we ask that any decisions that have not sought out their punishment already be retried in situations where that can be done again, that can be replicated for the sake of justice.
Well, after, I don't know what happened, but after this, I move that the court rests for a couple hours while the now public defense gathers evidence, and 7 o'clock tonight we will reconvene and have a law trial, considering the practice of these proceedings. And he pulls out a gavel and hits it on his table. I need a drink.
I am going to, because Hope's disguise has fallen, and his nervousness takes hold. You see him just shift and pull off of the witness stand.
I got a good look at the form that he had before, right?
Yeah, it dissipated the minute he cast that spell.
I'm gonna cast disguise. Can I? I can't disguise someone else. That's right. Wait. No, I don't have metamagic.
Well,
Fuck.
as he steps off the witness stand, he will trip, and then you almost see his eyes shut.
I go to catch him. Action
Whatever
surge.
happened, he fainted
Yeah, action surge move
after
to
the
catch
fact.
Sure.
him. Action move, action surge, whatever it takes to get over there as fast as possible to catch before he gets grabbed.
So,
Slap the face.
chains removed.
He does not like that.
Yeah, chains removed. His mother grabs Hope and pulls him close.
He's breathing like he's okay.
Yeah,
He
I know. I'm just trying
fainted
to wake him
out
up.
of sheer anxiety.
Trying to wake him up.
I think I have some smelling salts here, and then Warden will pull out one of the seeds and just kind of shove it up his nose.
Wait,
Shove it up his
wait,
nose.
before you do that, let me see it for a minute. I'm never gonna get this chance again. Let me see it.
Okay, here you go.
I'm gonna make it smell like the most awful fucking smell I possibly can think of.
Oh right, you have prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
So,
Do it now. Do it now.
Scott, what is the worst smell I have ever smelled?
There was a
no,
time
no.
when you entered Sukin Sam's laboratory,
Oh no.
and
It's the
he
worst
had
thing I've
been
ever done.
culturing a herd, an actual herd, like, you know, he had a little pen for them and everything, of stink buds on top of a corpse flower.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh, he didn't have a durian or anything?
And
Oh my god.
he had literally been feeding them. Well, the bedding of the stink bugs were old gym socks from Inua's place.
So there you go. That's what you
so-
smell as it's shoved in your nose.
I'm gonna make another con save to see if I wake up, and then I'll make a second one to see if I throw up.
You do
From-
have the
if I-
D4.
Wake up.
Do you
So,
take,
I
do you
wake
take
up.
disadvantage with the second one because it's up your nose?
Yeah.
Oh, if it's
That's-
disadvantage, I'm turning off the disadvantage, bitch.
You have the D4.
Because I
Oh.
feel like I'm sorry, Scott. This is a funny idea. Uh, 12. Do I throw up from the smell?
That's like a DC 21. So yeah, no.
Take me outside, 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 take me outside.
Luckily, the
That's all it
floors,
says.
like he said earlier, were definitely made to be thrown up on an instant. You actually see seals appear on the floor as prestidigitation, and it's cleaned up in a matter of seconds.
Is it still in my nose?
Probably.
I rip it out and chuck it as hard as I can in the party's general direction.
Joe thinks it was
Uh,
us.
I don't know if I should make an attack roll or... Yeah, I'll make an attack roll. Strength roll.
Well, let's just say the floor takes up most of the stink with its magic, but it's enough that the cleaning crew has to come out here.
Oh, he's awake.
I hate all of you.
You're
I wouldn't
welcome.
do that.
Well,
Can't hate Valley. He's not there. He's back in the shop watching over.
your mother runs out and, now that you're conscious, hugs you again. To the point that she never wants to let you go. Where's Atris?
Address is fine. Mom. Address is fine. But are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay now. I think so. I feel different after that, but I'm okay.
Wait a minute. I don't want to intrude on we all saw but heard something odd when you said those words.
Right.
It's a familiar sound to me.
Yeah, well, I can't feel Mister anymore, and it feel empty. But I should get over that. I should get over that. I need you. I need Varys. I need everyone. I need Hatteras. And even little, yeah.
Mom, listen to me. And Hope gets a thought. Did you know any magic? Like a wizard, in a manner.
A
Not
couple.
like how I known it, but
Well, when I followed Mistra, I got a little magic from her, but I think that's gone as well.
Sarcastic.
We need to go back. It is quite
No.
likely that
Hang on. Before we leave this room, write down what it felt like to be asked that question. Right here on this sheet of paper.
Okay. She writes down feeling empty and everything.
No, the lockjaw is specifically what I'm asking for.
Oh. Well, it just felt like I couldn't get a word out. Like, Mister was
like someone
stopping
was-
me.
Are you sure it was like she was stopping you?
I think so.
Hand over your mouth, like a not like a silent smell. If you've ever been under one of those.
No, it would, like, it came from inside. It's like part of me never wanted to speak.
that does confirm some suspicions.
We should head.
We
Should
should.
head to the shop. Should we head back over to Angel side?
Which one would take longer, Scott?
Angel side definitely would take longer.
Our
Do we
shop's
have
on
enough
Devil's
time to?
Side.
Do we have enough time to go to Angel Side and back?
I mean,
I'm staying
yeah,
on.
you ended pretty early, so it's like 1 o'clock at this point, a little before, and you still have like
Oh.
6 hours to.
Oh, we have
Come
6
back.
hours. Okay. Then Hope is going to. Let's go to Dad. Let's go to Dad, and then. While we're walking, I need to send someone something.
Ulfgar, do you mind writing down your experiences with Baranar while we walk? It's going to be sloppy, but as long as we can read it.
It was nothing like this, for I never got to the moment to renounce.
But speaking in the demi plane, in the magic mansion.
All those moments, how you felt, write them down as best as you can remember. And just
If
don't
we're
move
going
on.
to save all these people, we're going to need the information, and unfortunately, my friend, you are our best source.
Scott, the
Yeah.
one thing was when I did divination on to speak to Baranar, did I do it in the mansion or outside the mansion with the storytellers watching me?
I believe it was outside because you wouldn't
Yeah,
be
I
able
thought
to.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will say, I will add this. When I spoke to Baranar directly, I was not inside the mansion. To contact her, to feel her, I needed to be outside that protection.
It's good. It gives us a better baseline for other people.
And
yes, it does.
yeah, you probably could still connect. It's just harder. You need to do something big to, like a divination, to connect. And even then, it's fuzzy, static, kind of thing.
It's like going through the mountains with a cell phone.
Yeah. Gods can still connect you with anywhere. It's just they probably, unless they have a good reason, they won't put the effort in to get a clear signal.
I will add that I can still contact Baranar again, though each attempt does burn through my gold rather quickly, and I am rather running short on that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes, and everybody mark down for a full day of business 10 gold.
Like, used or gained?
Everyone gained 10 gold from the little business that you did today.
Great.
24.
Yep.
Question. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is my inventory thing. Did my money get used? My money get used for the business? My
The
personal
party money, the
Okay, it was
5,000,
party money.
was it?
I saw my $3,000. Cool.
Do we mark
Yeah,
down
so
the
how
party
did
loots
you-
of the, what was it?
It's like
How much
1,000.
of the
I think it was 1,000.
15,000 got used?
Yeah, 15,000.
We
Okay.
drew from the 15,000.
Yeah, how much of that got used?
1,000, I think.
So basically, you got 1,500 from the storytellers, right?
No, we got 15,000 from the storytellers.
We had.
Yes,
I
then it
thought
was.
We had upwards of.
Yeah, then it was.
Stupid amount of money.
Yeah, it was a big chunk of that to
Get the business started.
do the
Get supply
business
lines
more
going.
than 1,000 if it was 15,000. It'd be more like 10,000 for. It was probably 2/3 of whatever Sam gave you.
Okay,
That's
so we have
fair.
5,000 left on that.
Okay.
Remember to mark this down on party rule, please.
Yeah,
I got it, guys.
Okay.
Oh, you got it?
Okay. Oh, I'll do it again. Yeah.
Okay.
God damn it, we need to make up our minds. Okay, so we have 5,000 left over. Still have 600.
We're still walking and talking, correct?
Yep.
That's what should be happening. Okay, good.
And you're pretty much
Well,
back by this point because it's not that far away. You have a good
while we were
location.
walking, I'm gonna send another message to Rosebud.
Okay.
And I'm just writing in my book again as we walk.
This time we might have a stutter from all the walking and writing.
Yep.
It comes up a little scraggly. There's a moment where he gets bumped and he just writes, "God damn it," and then realizes, shit. And Rosebud, we're going to find you soon. I promise. There was something we had to handle. Where are you? Do you know where you are? Do you know who you're with? You mentioned a red-clawed man before. I don't quite remember his name.
The reply comes, yeah, he's funny. Well, he's scary, but they're doing a puppet show right now. It's, I don't know, some fancy place. They whacked me in the back, but I don't know.
write another setting spell. What are the primary colors? Would she be old enough to know her colors at this point?
She's
like 6.
6 or 7. She's old enough to understand, yeah. Dark?
Dark isn't color, honey.
Hope blinks. Dark what?
I mean, dark and a lot of people seem to be excited. I'm in my own room right now. They're being really nice to me. But I miss you.
He kind of sheds a tear at I miss you. We'll find you soon. I promise. In the meantime, try to keep an eye out for the details of the things that are there. Describe the room. Are you on the 2nd floor? Just write it all down for me.
Mentally or physically.
Yes, you can do both.
Hmm?
You can do it mentally or physically.
When we're going towards the angel side, do we go past the shop?
Angel Side is in the other direction. You guys are more inland. But it's literally 3 blocks to the shop and across the river to Angel Side.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stay. You guys go ahead. I'm gonna go help Kyle keep up the shop. He's probably not doing too well with all the customers around.
No, we need to celebrate. We need to. We're together again.
Mom,
We need
listen
to
to me.
get you out of here.
We need to get out of here, and as much as I love you, we have 2 other problems going on as well.
That's
We can
true.
celebrate when we have everything resolved. In which case, we will celebrate when we find the time. And
To
right
that
now,
point,
it is not that time.
Solving problems that are happening, I'm gonna go back to the shop and make sure that we keep our own shop. So that way we can keep having some inkling of power in this area.
Okay. Oh yeah, and the reply to the message does come through. Okay, I'm in, I think, the 1st floor, and then it stops. And you hear, oh, bad parents should not talk to their children like that. Better to cut you off now. And you see the paper rip that's in your journal.
Oh,
Scheiße, Malafrak.
they're going to the shop.
We need some tape.
Then you don't understand. Someone interjected into the sending spell. I've never seen that before. And just tore the page right off.
Not gonna lie, I still don't quite understand magic, but I need bullets.
Alright, next thing on the agenda is finding Rosebud.
Yes.
We'll go back to Dad
I-
now.
Have a court date in 5 hours.
So,
What is it, Wolfgar?
you should take the time to cast Identify Your Mother again.
I will, but I need to be still for it. So we need to get home.
We should go to a shop and do it first, perhaps.
Or the boat. I
Shop at
recommend putting all of Hope's family on the boat right
The boat?
now.
The boat is a bad idea, considering the fact it's the storyteller's boat, not ours.
On the other hand, unless they use powerful magics to break in, they can't get in there.
It's fair, but they've gotten in before.
We let them in before.
We did not let them into the bot. They cast their way into the adventure. They did.
I'm pretty sure we did
No.
before we would
We-
have if
Nope, we didn't have.
we weren't allowed to move.
Yeah, we were all basically.
So there was no means for us to let him in.
Yeah, we couldn't let them in. They broke.
They
in
broke in
the-
themselves.
Okay, and you guys are at the shop at this point, right?
I
Talking
mean, I
this
was
through.
heading to the shop. I don't know if anybody else was going to the shop.
I
You said it
I
was
think
the
we should just
outskirts.
regroup the party. Just
Regroup the
Okay.
party, then go to Dad.
So everyone regroups there, and funnily enough, Dad is arriving there. Edris appears.
Well,
just
that's
what I'm looking
convenient.
for.
Huh. Well, we did it.
I heard about the trial. Marin, honey, and rushes to her and she rushes to him.
I would like to point out that this would not have been able to be done without your son. That boy's magic is something.
And they
Something
Yeah.
above what I've seen.
embrace. And the father smiles at that statement. Yes, this couldn't be done without you. It couldn't be done without you. And you see
That was that.
the claw, reddened with blood, appear through her.
Rifle out now.
As the
I cast
face
a flash.
slowly changes.
Fire. Done. Shooting. Now. 2 shots.
And as you're hitting the Rakshasa,
Ooh, this bad one. Okay.
he doesn't even care as he uses her body as a shield.
Faster than a bullet.
It's been a while since I've had a soul to reap. Should have listened to your goddess. And vanishes with her.
I don't have
Fucking
fucking spell.
hate this city. And this shit that's going. Oh, my fault. I'm gonna murder people.
Was
Hope
Val
just
there to
goes.
see this, or
I think we all were.
okay, just making sure if he was still inside or not at the time. of-
Scott, as much as I love this calm town music, can we change it?
Yes.
I don't know. It's pretty calm now.
that
I'm
everything's
gonna look
over.
at Hope. I'm gonna look at Hope. I'm
Hope
really
is not
sorry for shooting your mother.
Hope is not responding to anything.
Slap, slap. I don't even give
Nothing.
a fuck. Slap,
Nothing.
slap. Smack, smack with the gun. I need to get him back to
Hey,
fucking
Mark.
reality.
Raybar, back away for a moment.
Backing away.
We all just saw what happened.
That's what we did. We did.
His top lip begins to furl, as do his eyebrows. He says nothing for a few moments.
Gotta get the guard.
And then slowly turns to the rest of you. Having just witnessed that, saved his mom. You meant to switch it, I believe, and then it just didn't work. Was this the same voice that interrupted my sending?
Oh, shoot. That's stupid. I need to have voting people.
Okay, hang on. Let me go to the server real quick.
Is it breaking?
Yeah, it's just rhythm. So, yes, it is the same growling voice from your message. And it probably, you realize now, it was probably done not from her end, but from your end. Since he was right there with you guys in the crowd.
I'm going to feast on that creature's organs.
I hate Fae. I hate fiends.
Rakshasa and Fae.
I
And he
hate-
reaches towards his head and pulls out his dagger.
I hate tricksy things.
And he finds a new target.
Right. We're doing
The
this
thing
right.
is going to freeze in the depths of the deepest abyss.
You are being baited, though.
I know.
Take a moment, Hope. I'm with you, but take a moment.
Is there something that I can roll to figure or to see if I can kind of intuit where he would go?
You can certainly try.
Insight, investigation.
Insight.
I'm good at those. Has it been an hour? Am I still?
That was only for
Trial?
charisma anyway.
Yeah, it was.
That is. Oh, yeah, fair. I keep forgetting that insight isn't a charisma skill.
If he were to go anywhere, because the 9 hells are sectioned off, he would probably go to the most defensible place that he can get to, which is the 10th Sin, all the way across the map, the large, multi-floored one.
If we don't move now, we'll run out of time.
I know. Let's go.
What?
Pretty sure we'll run out of time.
And I'm away.
As you leave, one of you almost slips on the blood that remains. And we end the night session there.
Murder. Scott, you're making me want to murder everything, and I'm the neutral good one.
Oh yeah.
How do you think I feel? I'm chaotic good, but hope's
No,
afflicted
okay,
by a curse of revenge.
Murder is within the tenets of chaotic good.
Ulfgar, make a religion check.
I will let you all know right now. Hope will
Okay.
likely be consumed by revenge until this creature is either dealt with or made suffer.
Yeah, that's definitely enough. You realize now, after hearing what he said and connecting, the god and goddesses knew that, because when you disavow your god, your soul is technically up for grabs.
I didn't need a religion check to assume that.
Yes. However, the gods made sure that nobody would disavow, probably because they knew a Rakshasa was on the loose and was searching for souls to take.
So this is our fault. Fucking god damn you.
We couldn't have predicted this, and I love that.
Yes.
Damned if we do. Damned if we don't.
You guys met.
Those are-
I mean,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
if
That's not the
Ulfgar had come with me, I don't think that would have still happened because she wouldn't have been able to cast in there, or else they would have gotten mad at her.
No, it basically was
There's
a
nothing could have done.
your
unless
high
we, like,
rolls.
had her do.
Your high dispel roll bit you in the butt.
That
It
sucks.
was, she dies if we don't, she's captured if we do.
Not even Catherine Fisher, she's dead. I mean,
Yeah,
I shot her
she's
twice.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I shot her twice. No.
She lost her
because I
levels in
fired-
cleric, so she's commoner.
I fired. And he said that the Rakshasa used it as a
I wouldn't
As her as a shield.
necessarily,
I have a-
actually, I'm not gonna say it.
Wow, that was not a good
That
ending.
was a lot of fun.
We had to balance out the best ending for getting out of Kriela, so
Facts.
Yeah, so we got the absolute worst one.
It's not over yet, though.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
I mean,